Okay, without any further ado, I'm going to get started. And our first presentation this morning is from Adult CTE. So I will turn it over to them.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm Marina Cole. I am the Director of Adult Education at St. Johnsbury Academy, and I'm joining today representing not just the programs at our technical center, but programs at tech centers across the state. I'm going to open my screen share here. So one of the first questions that you might have is, what exactly is adult CTE? So when we talk about adult CTE, we're talking about career and technical ed courses that are designed for adults. And these things take place around the state. We have 17 different locations of technical centers. So if one is not connected with your high school, there's one in your region. So what we offer are all different kinds of programs, courses, trainings, workshops geared to adults who would like to earn a certificate of value, a credential that helps them on their career path. So why do people take courses at CTE centers? There's lots of reasons why you might choose a short-term training at a tech center, including the fact that it is short-term. College is great if that is the path that gets you to your career, but for lots of great high-paying jobs in our state, a degree is not necessary. So folks sometimes come to CTE centers to earn those credentials that they need for jobs like commercial driving, or to be licensed as, say, an electrician. So lots of those things require a license, but not a degree. And so they come to tech centers for those short-term trainings. And our trainings might last anywhere from a couple of meetings over the course of a few weeks to a semester-long training, but almost never longer than that. They're also typically pretty low cost. So the least expensive credential being offered at my center right now is $65 for your ServSafe Food Manager certification. So they range anywhere from that cost up to, say, $5,200 for a commercial driver's license training. Credentials of value, like I said, are sometimes the only thing needed to be highly qualified for a great paying job, but folks don't just take adult CTE training instead of college. Lots of folks will take a training at a CTE center before beginning a college program. That might be a great entry into a career field. So let's say you're interested in a healthcare profession, but you're not quite sure what that might be. A great first step might be to take a short-term LNA training, get your foot in the door somewhere and sample that and see if that's something you'd like to do. And then that might be your first step into a Bachelor of Nursing degree at a college, for example. Some folks take our programs while they're in college. This is a great way to earn a credential that allows you to work your way through college. Many folks have to pay their way as they're earning those degrees, and this could be a path in that direction. And then there's lots of folks like me who did the traditional path to college, and now we take training at CTE centers after our college degrees to continue to add credentials and fill out our resumes once we know what field we're in and what we're really interested in. So there's really no wrong way to enter into a course offered at a tech center. It can be before, during, or after another training or degree program. Let's see. I want to move you to my next slide, but I'm not sure if while I'm screen sharing, if it allows me to do that. So I might just talk to you about what's on the next slides. So if you're wondering what kinds of things you might study, I'll give you a few samples. I mentioned commercial driver license training. Folks who want to be truck drivers often take their training at a career tech center. These are not offered at every location around the state, but many of them, including St. Johnsbury, Newport, and Essex, offer a CDL course. Like I said, this is a longer training, but if that's a career path that you're interested in, these trainings will help you pass the DMV driving test. LNA I mentioned as a great path into healthcare, also a shorter term, usually 1 semester or less. The shortest programs we're offering are 6 weeks in a hybrid form to begin a healthcare profession and be licensed by the state of Vermont. We also have courses in HVAC. So if you're interested in things like heating, air conditioning, and ventilation, lots of high paying jobs available in those fields right now. And again, we have several centers that are offering those types of trainings. But these are really diverse types of classes. You could come to a tech center for a welding certification. You could come for an esthetician program to become a cosmetologist. There's lots of opportunities that don't necessarily lead to a license, but would help you decide if a career path is or is not right for you, which is, finding out what you don't want to do is just as important as finding out what you do want to do. And a training at a career center is a real safe way to sample what you might want to do later, because you don't necessarily have to commit a lot of funds and a lot of time to just sample a class and see if entering a longer term program would be right for you. So lots of different kinds of things you could choose to study. How do you find a class? Well, the screen you can see right now is pulled from our website statewide. So it can be difficult to figure out where all the centers are in the state and then connect with each one. So you might want to just go to our one statewide website, which is adultctevt.org, where you'll find all of the connections to these various centers. You can also search by class. So maybe you know what kind of training you're looking for, but you don't know where and when it's offered. You can hop on this website, search for the training you're most interested in, find out where it's going to be hosted next, when it will be hosted, and who to contact if you'd like to enroll. Or if you know where you're able to study, but you're not sure what to study, you can do the search in that direction as well. So you can limit your search on this site to say, I just want to know what's being offered in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont in the fall. And you'll be able to search sites that way as well. So this is sort of your one-stop shop at that VACTIA website to find what's going on at all 17 sites in one convenient location. A cool thing about adult CTE is that we do not have enrollment deadlines. So there's not just one time during the year where you have to have all your things in order and apply. In fact, we encourage you to continuously check what's being offered at your local tech center. You can apply at any time. So all of our enrollment is open enrollment on a first come, first served basis. So as long as there is a seat in that particular class you're interested in, you can register for that anytime. And you will do that, like I said, find the site you're most interested in on this one website and then connect to that CTE center offering the course. Each center's enrollment is a little bit different in terms of what form you fill out, but what is similar to all centers is registration is usually very easy with one quick form where you need to fill out what class you're interested in, when you would like to enroll in that, if there's several different start dates for a course, and provide your contact information. That is always the first easy step. We also help folks figure out how to pay for these trainings. It may be more difficult, for example, to try to piece together the cost of a $5,200 CDL class. So once you've enrolled, the director of adult ed at that center will reach out to you with all kinds of ways to help you fund that class. And of course, we'll refer you to VSAC for their advancement grant, which could offer up to $3,000 in tuition assistance if you qualify. We also have funding that is earmarked just for students taking a course at a CTE center that helps them with a career goal. So we'll refer you to those separate sources of funding. Each school, each tech center also keeps a small pot of funds that are available just to the students enrolling at that center. And each of those directors will help you understand what's available from the school you've chosen to enroll at. And then we connect students with outside agencies who also have funding support as appropriate. So for students who have a documented disability of some kind, we might connect you with vocational rehabilitation who might help fund your training. Department of Labor have different sources of funding for students. and other community groups. And so we've become experts at connecting our students with the different sources of funds for these classes to help defray the costs of our higher tuition price point courses. If anybody has questions about anything I've shared here today, I'd love for you to put your questions in the chat, and then I'll help answer any of those things. If you want to connect with me after this session, I am going to stop screen sharing so I can put my email address in that chat as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Marina. I really appreciate you sharing that information about CTE. And now I'm going to turn it over to Adam from CCV.
Really helps if you turn your microphone on. So can you folks hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Sorry for that. Let me go ahead and start this. Hi, I'm Adam Warrington. I'm from the Community College of Vermont. Happy to share a little bit of information about CCV with you today. Basics about who we are. We're the second largest college in Vermont. We offer about 1,000 courses around the state every semester. We're really focused on folks who are part-time and want to go to college while they're doing all the other things involved with life, working, raising a family, perhaps lots of other stuff. So a lot of our students are part-time. We have 12 locations throughout the state, so we're close to all Vermonters, and we really focus on having a really small classes that are going to give you the personalized attention that you need. So on average, 13 students in each class. If there's one thing I hope you'll take home today about CCV is we're open to everyone. We're an open admissions school. So our admissions process is going to be, hopefully you'll experience it being very quick and easy. There's no SAT or ACT required, though we'd love you to send those scores if you have them so we can use them for academic advising. There's no essay to get in, and it's a completely free process in order to apply for admission. Everything we do as part of our admissions process is really to inform the course selection process. We can guarantee you're going to be admitted because we're an open admissions school, but as we collect things like transcripts, we want to use those to help make sure that you hit the ground running in the right courses that aren't too hard or too easy for you when you get started. Don't have a whole lot of time to go over our degree programs. We offer associate degrees and quite a few certificates. New this year, we have 4 new certificates in cloud computing, community health, entrepreneurship, and human resources management. We also have a lot of partnerships with colleges around the state for transfer. So a lot of students will start at CCV and plan to go to another college later for a bachelor's degree, especially within the Vermont State Colleges system, including our partners at Castleton University, Vermont Tech, and Northern Vermont University. Much more information about our transfer pathways is available on our website. But while I have your attention, I just want to walk you through the super basics of applying for admission to CCV. It's a pretty simple process, I hope. The first thing you do is you go to apply.ccv.edu. If you don't have an account already, you create one. You just verify your email address and your date of birth, and you hit the ground running with an application. And then once you've logged in, you created your account and logged in, you start a new application, and you'll need to select the semester you want to start with. Right now, we're accepting applications really for just our summer and fall semester. I'm guessing most of the attendees today are interested in starting at CCV in the fall of 21, but if you want to pick up a summer class, we're open for business for that as well. Once you've started your application, you click on all the pages there and you fill out the required questions and you submit your application. I don't need to walk you through the details of filling out a web form. I'm sure everyone's done it, but you go through, answer some basic questions about who you are and your academic background, and you submit the application. Then quite quickly afterward, you will have an application checklist built for you. So we can walk you through exactly what you need in order to be admitted to CCV. This takes probably a half hour. We'll send you an email automatically once it's ready. And your checklist is going to look something like this. And this is a really sort of basic example of one for a first-time college student. At this point, we're not requiring any testing for our applicants. primarily due to COVID. We would normally have AccuPlacer placement testing, which again, we don't use for whether or not you're admitted to the college. We use it to help guide you in terms of the appropriate courses to start with. We're not requiring that this fall. So really the basics, the only required thing that most first-time college students will need to do is submit any college transcripts. If you have done a dual enrollment course, we'll need official transcripts for that coursework. And that would actually be only for dual enrollment coursework that you've taken outside of the Vermont State Colleges system. So if you happen to have taken a course at Vermont Tech, we don't need that transcript. We can get the data from them. But if you perhaps took a dual enrollment course with UVM, you'll need to submit an official transcript of that. We'd also like you to submit unofficial copies of your high school transcript. That is not mandatory, but definitely encouraged. We want to use as much information as we can to, again, help guide you in the right direction. The other thing we'd really encourage you to do is contact your nearest CCV center, whichever one you live closest to, and set up what's called a new student advising appointment. This is a time for you to meet with an academic advisor, and they can walk you through all the basics, not only of getting started as an applicant at CCV and what you need to do to finish your application, but also getting started with applying for financial aid. It's really time for you to get all your questions answered so you're ready to go. That's the new student advising appointment. Again, it's optional, highly encouraged though. For most of you first-time college students, if you've gone to any colleges before, we're going to need a transcript for that if you did a dual enrollment course. Otherwise, you're going to get admitted in probably the next day or so, and we'll send you a communication that says you've been admitted, and then you'll be ready to register for classes. Our fall semester and summer semester enrollment will begin at the beginning of April, so you've got plenty of time if you are interested in getting started at CCV. Hope you find it's very simple, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your nearest CCV location. And with that, I will release my screen share. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Really appreciate you sharing that information. Up next, we have Brandon from Castleton. Welcome, Brandon.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for participating today and allowing us to participate and share some information. My name is Brandon Kennedy. I'm one of the admission counselors at Castleton University. And Castleton University is one of your state universities. We are part of the Vermont State College system. So our colleagues at Northern Vermont University, Vermont Tech, and CCV, we are all part of that system. Castleton is located down in Southern Vermont. So we are located right in the heart of the Green Mountain region. We're about 15 minutes west of Rutland, Rutland City, and we have about 2,000 undergraduate and graduate students. So we are a small university, if you're looking at our size. We serve many Vermonters and also students from all across the country and the world. We are Vermont's oldest institution of higher learning. We were actually founded in 1787 as a teacher's college, and then we morphed into the liberal arts university that we are today. Today, we have over 75 different programs of study. We have over 50 different academic minors. So there's a lot of different areas for students. We are a liberal arts university, so students are studying in business, but they're also studying in the humanities, the arts, sciences. So if that's something that you're looking for, that type of experience, Castleton could be a really good fit for you. We also offer pre-professional programs, graduate degrees, and some more selective certificate programs to help complement your bachelor's degree. But mostly we serve bachelor degree seeking students. At Castleton, we are a fully experiential environment, and what that means for you all is that as a Castleton student, you will have the ability to learn by doing, getting hands-on experience both in and outside of the classroom. So we have science students that are doing research in Panama in the past. We've had, archaeology students on, professional archaeological digs all across the country and in the world. We had a student that I worked with who just went to Romania a couple of years ago on an archaeological dig. So there's all sorts of different fun activities to get you outside of the classroom. We have many students that are involved in community service, civic engagement, and also students that are studying abroad and traveling, as I'm sure many of you might be interested in doing. Part of the Castleton experience is also built around your social life. Many of our students live on campus or they live in the surrounding town of Castleton in an off-campus apartment. So we provide a number of different activities for you to do as a Castleton student. Those activities would be clubs that are, started and run by our Student Government Association. We offer free skiing to Pico Mountain Resort, or you can ski at Killington Ski Resort for $250 for a season pass, which is an awesome deal. We just want to make sure that students are doing things that they're really passionate about and are really busy. Being in a little bit of a more rural environment, we have to provide a lot of different activities for students so you're not bored while you're here on campus. Like I said, most of our students live on campus, so we have 11 residential communities. As a first-year student, you can choose which style of building you would like to live in. And we have a few different styles that you can learn more about on our website. There's no difference in cost for housing. So everyone lives together and it's all equal cost, which is a great way for students to, not feel limited in their housing selection. We're a very inclusive housing environment where, we have gender inclusive housing for students in our suite style, which is more like an apartment, or in our traditional corridor style. We have single bedrooms, and we also have apartments that are off campus in downtown Rutland if you're looking for more of a kind of city atmosphere to live in. We also are a very active campus athletically. We have 28 Division III varsity sports. They all are NCAA regulated. And we compete in the Little East Conference for our athletics, which is New England's premier public school conference. We play schools in Boston, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, kind of all across the Northeast. And our students do really well. If you're interested in being a varsity athlete, I would encourage you to go to castletonsports.com and fill out a recruit me form to start getting in touch with coaches. It's a great way to kind of get your foot in the door in Division III. Because we are Division III, we don't offer sports scholarships, but we do offer students to compete at a very competitive level. Our men's and women's alpine teams just got back from nationals last week. So there's all sorts of good things. Now, if you're a student athlete currently, but you're not thinking about being an athlete in the future, we have club athletics and we have intramurals. We also have a couple of fitness centers, indoor rock climbing. We have a competitive Frisbee golf course. We're on 165 acres. So if you love the outdoors, if you like to hike, mountain bike, snowshoe, cross-country ski, all of those great activities that Vermont has to offer, you can do those right on our campus, which our students find to be really, quite appealing and quite enticing. Now, if all of that stuff kind of sparks your interest, I would encourage you to jump onto our website, castleton.edu, to learn even more throughout this month as you prepare your applications for that March 31st deadline, or March 31st application date, I should say. To apply to Castleton, the process is pretty straightforward and it's pretty simple. We are a common application school, which, if you are not familiar with, is a great universal application that you can apply to Castleton and multiple different institutions using one application. We also have our own online application that is very simple. And for the purpose of this activity in this session, I would encourage you to use our application. We can waive your application fee if you use our own application by selecting that you've been approved for a school-specific fee waiver, and we'll make sure that you participated in this event, and we'll waive your application fee. We are going to require an essay or a personal statement. There's a couple of different topics that you can choose from in our application, but essentially the essay is your time as a student to really enhance your application and share a little bit more about yourself and your academic journey. You can talk about your academic triumphs, or you can talk about maybe your academic struggles that you might have had and you've had to overcome. We just want to get to know you as the individual that you are. We are also going to require an official copy of your transcript from your high school. If you stop down to your school counseling office, they can email it directly to us, or they can, fax or send it to us in the postal mail. Really whatever is most convenient for your school, but you'll send us an official copy of your transcript. We like to see all completed grades that you have. So that would include, first semester grades at this point, even, I'm not sure where third quarter is coming, but if you have progress reports, we'd love to know about that as well. And then lastly, what we're going to need for this application is a letter of recommendation. This letter of recommendation can come from your school counselor, it can come from a teacher, or it can come from a professional that maybe a supervisor or a coach, someone that can speak to your character. They can't come from family members, but they can come from many other people. We like to see applications, or we like to see recommendations, I should say, from folks that can speak to your academic experience and your academic credentials. So kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about that. Once those, submitting your letter of recommendation, I should say, once those documents are in, your application is considered complete. And either myself or one of my colleagues will review your application for admission. You can see from this slide here that our average student comes to Castleton with a B average. That's a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale, or about an 85 out of 100. Or if you're in proficiencies, it can be something totally different. But we work with all students on understanding what their average grades are and academic performances. We do love to see SAT or ACT scores if you have them, but they are completely optional for this year and next year. So you don't need to submit those test scores if you don't have them. That's not a problem. But you can see those are our averages there. Now, these are just strictly average. So we have students that are that have GPAs that are higher, academic performance that are higher, and students that are a little bit lower that are able to be admitted to Castleton. What we're looking for, and what my job as an admission counselor to look for, is fit, and making sure that Castleton is going to be a good fit for you and you'll be a good fit for us in our community. So any way that we can highlight that would be really helpful. I would encourage you all to also participate in the session that we're going to be having later this month, where you can sit down and chat with me about the application, especially if you have any questions or concerns. Once you've been admitted, you will receive any merit scholarship that you're eligible for. And those, we have a nice wide range of that. And being that Castleton is a state institution, it is a really affordable option for many Vermont students. I would encourage you all to also think about applying for federal financial aid by using the Fafsa, submitting that to us, working with VSAC, and just getting connected with folks. But I think that wraps it up for me. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen as well. Thank you all.
Great. Thanks so much, Brandon. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Lee from Champlain College. Welcome, Lee.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you can see my screen here. My name is Leah. I'm the Assistant Director of Undergrad Admissions here at Champlain, and I have the opportunity to work with Vermont students. So today we'll give you a little overview of, Champlain, what that experience would be like for you, and then we'll talk about that application process. So here at Champlain, we're a pretty small school located in Burlington, Vermont. We have about 2,100 undergraduates. So what that means for you is your class sizes are going to be about 12 to 17 students. So it's really nice if you want that personalized attention and hands-on education. While we are well known in Vermont and New England, New York, we do have students from over 40 states and 18 countries. So it does make for a really diverse discussion when you're in those different core classes. It's nice to have students from all over the country and all over the world. At Champlain, there's 3 major components to your academic model. One is going to be your major. The second piece is going to be your core classes. And the third piece is going to be your career program. And we'll dive into these just a bit deeper. So at Champlain, we have an upside down curriculum, which means you're taking classes in your major from day one. So you're really getting that experience right away if you know exactly what you want to do. Or if you're undecided, it's also really great to have this upside down curriculum because you have the chance to explore different majors, different divisions that first semester here. So you can have that aha moment earlier on and really figure out what you like and what you don't like. As a result of this upside down curriculum, you're going to be getting those internships a lot sooner, that experience, those connections. And so your resume is going to be much more highly marketable when you connect with different employers for jobs or internships. Here at Champlain, with those different majors, we have them housed in 4 different divisions. We have the Stiller School of Business, Communication and Creative Media, Education and Human Studies, and Information and Technology Sciences. So you can pursue one of these different majors, or you have the opportunity to explore, different majors or minors across the divisions, within the same division, or even narrow down your search with those concentrations. We really want to give you that wide breadth of study, but also allow you to pursue what you're really excited about. An example of a concentration might be in our creative media program, where you can choose a different medium to study. So maybe your top concentration is going to be sonic arts, and your secondary concentration would be the visual arts or creative writing. You really get to choose. Maybe psychology is your passion, and you get to decide if you want to pursue research psychology, neuropsychology by working in our brain stimulation labs, or even clinical psychology. So we want to give you an understanding of the field and your major, but also allow you to really hone in on those skill sets that are going to set you apart in the workforce. One of our newer programs here at Champlain is our degree design lab. So maybe you're not undecided, but maybe you just don't want to choose between the 2 or 3 different areas that you're excited about. We have this degree design labs. You can choose 2 or 3 different pathways at Champlain, and those are all listed on the website, as well as all of our other majors and the full curriculum of classes there. But with this degree design lab, you can choose 2 or 3 different pathways and actually build your own curriculum with our faculty mentors. So it's great to have the opportunity to study 2 different things simultaneously, and then have your faculty help you identify different careers that really combine these different skills that you want to pursue. The next piece of your academic model is going to be our core classes. So at Champlain, we talked about that upside down curriculum. There's no semester where you have to take just math, English, science, history, because on average, our students are taking 3 classes in their major and 2 classes in their core every semester. These core classes are a little bit more interdisciplinary than just your general math, English, science, history. You're going to be learning all of those skills and applying them, but you're going to be applying them to subjects that you're excited about. So maybe you're a gamer and that's why you're coming to Champlain. You can study those math skills, those writing skills, technology literacy skills, critical thinking skills, all through the lens of games. We had a class offered this past year called Reading and Writing and Games. 2 years ago, for that second year piece, when you're diving a little bit deeper into developing these skill sets, we had students go abroad to London for a week during spring break, and they studied Harry Potter literature. So maybe you love English or maybe you love Harry Potter, and that's a way to get those English credits in is, studying Harry Potter for a semester and then really living it, breathing it, expanding these critical thinking skill sets by experiencing it in London over spring break. So we want you to take classes that you're excited about, apply these skills to things you're interested in, and that way you can apply them to the world around you, as well as that senior capstone project, your 4th year at Champlain. This is really your opportunity to take those things that you've learned in your core curriculum and those technical skills you've developed in your major and create one cohesive project. An example of these might be things, we've had a creative media student in the past do a documentary all about mental health illness and marginalized populations. So they were technical in the recording studios. They're part of our recording club. They've done documentaries before, but this was their chance to take some psychology classes and work with the psychology faculty to really learn more about stigmatized populations, as well as mental health illness. And so it was a great opportunity for them to blend those 2 different interests that they were really excited about. For some of our game students, they choose to build games in their 3rd and 4th year. Some of our professional writing students have developed an anthology last year, one memorable one all about the global warming and getting different works from all different authors and really compiling that breadth of work. So you really can take all of these other interests you have and showcase them with the technical skills from your major. That 3rd piece of your curriculum here at Champlain that is not graded is going to be your Insight program. So at Champlain, those 4 divisions I showed you, all of them have a career coach that know the ins and outs of your major, your division, and what the field is like. They help you with different career positioning activities and personal finance activities every semester. Some of these career positioning activities might be the college fair, or not the college fair, might be the job fair that you see here. They might be LinkedIn workshops, how to build that online presence. Resume building, if you're applying for an internship, can you tailor your skill sets to the company and the position? Different personal finance activities might be learning how to manage a budget, manage your lifestyle. They want to introduce you to that in the very first year that you're here. Other workshops they do might be tailored to budgeting for study abroad, if you choose to study abroad. It also could be opening up a credit card, understanding loans. They want to make sure that you have access to these resources while you're here at Champlain, but also as an alumni. You have access to your career coach indefinitely, and you can use their career preparation skills in case you ever needed to tailor your resume to look for a new job, or maybe you want to go back to grad school and they can help you through that search process. So it really is a lifelong return on investment here at Champlain. But while you're here, 89% of our students do at least one or more internship or experiential learning opportunity. You can do them on campus in our recording studios like you see here, do them in the local Burlington, Vermont area, or even do them if you choose to study abroad. We have over 50% of our students study abroad. We have 2 international campuses that are both taught in English, so we make it really easy for our students to study abroad. These campuses are chosen very intentionally based on the different majors that we offer. So a lot of our game students, filmmaking, creative media tend to go to Montreal because it's a big creative media hub, lots of great filmmaking and music up there. While we have a lot of our students who are in our cybersecurity, computer networking, education, social work programs go to Dublin because we have different partnerships with the local community there where they can gain that experiential learning. If you want to go anywhere else in the world, you absolutely can. You will connect with our study abroad advisors and they'll help you find the best one based on your major and what your other interests are. While you're living, hopefully on campus at Champlain, we do have over 20 mansions that you can call home, and housing is guaranteed for that first year. So these cool mansions line the streets of Burlington, they line our academic buildings, and it really is a nice homey community. So I definitely encourage you to, come to one of our events and check in with our students and see what it's like to really live in the residence halls or take that virtual tour. At Champlain, we do have over 50 student-run clubs and orgs and over 20 clubs and intramural sports. Ski and ride is definitely popular with those student discounts, and other things that are really popular are esports, our hiking clubs. That way you can get out into the Vermont area and join those student discounts. Check out Church Street, go to the different galleries and restaurants. You'll definitely never be hungry at Champlain or around the Great Burlington area, where you can see Lake Champlain right from our buildings on campus. So once you leave Champlain, your degree does pay off. 88% of our students are employed or enrolled in graduate school, and 100% are employed directly in their field. So that's a direct correlation of that upside down curriculum and internships. To get yourself here for the fall, we do offer 2 different admissions programs. We offer early decision, regular decision, or transfer if you decide that's the right path for you. You'll submit your application and your Fafsa by December 1st for early decision, and you'll hear back from us within a few weeks. If you're thinking of regular decision, you don't have to submit that until May 1st or February 1st, and then you have until May 1st to make that decision. When applying, it's similar to a lot of the other schools you've heard here today. You can submit the Common App if you're applying to a few different schools, or the Champlain app if you're applying to one school. We'll have you request your high school transcripts or college transcripts if you've done any dual enrollment courses, so we can give you that college credit. We are test optional, so don't feel that you need to submit those SAT or ACT scores. But if you are a great test taker, definitely send them along so we can, look at your application very holistically. From those recommendation letters of teachers that know you really well or are teaching you in the field that you're interested in pursuing. And that personal essay, definitely one of the most exciting things for us to see and get to know you outside of just those grades. If you're interested in a portfolio program, you can see the different portfolio requirements here, but you can connect with us for a portfolio review virtually and really see all of those different opportunities and what each portfolio requires. Thanks, everyone, and hopefully you have the chance to come visit us virtually.
Thanks so much, Leah. Appreciate you sharing that information about Champlain College. And now I'm going to turn it over to Penny from Northern Vermont University. Welcome, Penny.
Hello, everybody. Can you see my screen?
I think it's on its way. Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So thank you all for logging in today. I'm happy to give you a brief overview, just a few slides, and then I would encourage you to attend our virtual tours that we're offering through the VSAC event on Monday, March 29th, and then of course the Vermont Applies event on the 31st. Happy to take questions as well. For those of you who are not at all familiar with Northern Vermont University, we are one university and two campuses. We have a residential campus in Johnson, Vermont, and then Lyndonville, Vermont. We are about an hour and a half apart. And the third option that we have for students is our online program. And this is really a great option for students who are looking for a more affordable and flexible delivery of college degrees. Not all of our degrees are offered through the online program. So it's very important to look at the website and see exactly what those offerings are. But for most of our students who are interested in the residential campuses, they're coming to Northern Vermont University because they're looking for a small university. They're looking for a particular program and opportunities, whether that's athletics or other extracurriculars. And we have students coming from all over the country. For many students who are undecided, they may have several areas of interest, but they're just not sure, we recommend the Explorations program. And then with intentional advising through our advising center and career counseling, we're able to direct students to a career path. There are many options, but a lot of students do come in and they're not quite sure what they want to study. So our goal is to get our students prepared for careers that require critical and creative thinking and communications, problem solving, teamwork, and research. And we start students with our general education curriculum. So these are core courses, and everyone will be taking writing, math, social sciences. We divide our curriculum into 4 schools: the School of Arts and Communication, School of Business and Leadership, the School of Cultural and Human Studies, and the School of Physical and Life Sciences. So in total, we have more than 70 degree programs between the 2 campuses, but we really are focused in that first semester or 2 on a more general approach. I'll just take a minute to talk about Johnson, 350-acre hilltop campus, beautiful view, 14 buildings. We have about 1,000 students on the Johnson campus. You'll notice the breakdown is about 80% in-state, 20% out-of-state. Those out-of-state students are coming from, for fall 20 from 20 different states, and we have some international students as well. Our classes are small. We have a student to faculty ratio of 15:1. And the thing about the Johnson campus is that we have been designated by the Council of Public Liberal Arts Colleges as Vermont's premier public liberal arts institution, and there's 1 per state. So our campus went through a review process and we were identified based on our curriculum. So some of our popular programs on the Johnson campus, and this goes back historically too, education. If anyone wants to become a teacher, the Johnson campus is where they should go. Education licensure is in elementary ed and special education. So it's a dual licensure track, and students can complete that in 4 years. So that's very appealing to a lot of students. It really doubles their job opportunities. Could be, you know, K through 6 elementary teacher or a special ed teacher. Other popular programs, psychology with our health and sports psychology option, biology pre-med, there's business with accounting, management, sport management. Have a unique BFA program, Bachelor of Fine Arts and Creative Writing. And then anyone interested in the arts, in performance, we have a performance art and technology program with tracks in dance, music, theater, immersive design, and social justice and activism. Also popular, health sciences, studio arts. We have a unique offering with the Vermont Woodworking School. So we offer a BFA in fine woodworking and furniture design. And then another unique and popular program is holistic health, which really focuses on alternative medicine. So that's a little bit about the course offerings, and there's much more, but I just wanted to point out the ones that are popular and unique to our campus. The Linden Campus, about an hour and a half from the Johnson campus, also offers liberal arts, but it's known for its distinctive professional programs. So atmospheric sciences, digital communication, outdoor leadership, really interesting program in music business industry and exercise science. Again, it's about the same population as the Johnson campus, but the mix here is a little different. We have more out-of-state students. About 55% of the population is from out of state, again, all over the country. And they're really attracted to the Linden campus because of those unique programs. Some of the other programs that draw a lot of attention from out-of-state students: animation and illustration, visual communication design, climate change science, data science, criminal justice, and pre-nursing. So there's many opportunities, and as I said, we like to get students connected, not just in the classroom, but through what we call high impact learning through research and internships and student teaching and other experiential opportunities. I just wanted to highlight a couple students who have done some interesting internships. NVU Johnson psychology major Angelina Beckett had completed an internship as a victims advocate at a social service agency in Lamoille County, and that led to a full-time job after she graduated as a case manager. One of our NVU Lyndon students, Jonathan Hutchinson, was an atmospheric science major who interned at Southwest Airlines, and he tracked storms and wrote forecasts for airports. I thought that was kind of an interesting one. NVU Lyndon, Emma Quinn, she was a broadcast and digital journalism student, and she got her experience through a practicum at News 7, which is our Emmy award-winning student-run television station on the Linden campus. And it covers local news, and it broadcasts 5 nights a week. So she got some great experience there. And finally, I'll just mention Shayna Bennett, who came to Johnson as a dual enrollment student. She was just going to take one writing class, and she ended up enrolling as an environmental science and math major. And one of her professors suggested she have a summer research project. So she applied through, it was an applied math program at the University of California, Merced, and she had a great summer internship, and that led to her getting a full fellowship. She's in a PhD program at the University of California. So sometimes these internships just lead to that next career step, to graduate school. And of course, outside of the internships, there's a lot to get involved with on Johnson or Linden's campus through athletics, clubs and activities. On the Johnson campus, we offer a program called National Student Exchange, where students can spend a semester or a full year at another college or university in the country. There are more than 200 to choose from. We also have an international student exchange program. And so we're looking forward to our students being able to participate when the travel restrictions have lifted. So athletics is also a big part of our community. We offer 26 varsity sports between the men's and women's programs, and we're part of the NCAA Division II. Even though we're one university, we do have 2 sports teams. So they're Johnson, we're known as the Badgers, and Lyndon are the Hornets. And so we even compete against one another, but we're still one university. So lots to discuss on clubs and organizations, but I'm just going to move it along and just mention that this application process is very simple. We do have our own application, NVU application, but we do use the Common App as well. I would recommend for anyone who is interested in applying on the 31st, we're going to be using the NVU application, and that we will waive the application fee. We are test optional. So if you've taken SATs or ACTs, you can submit them, but we're going to focus on your high school transcript. And that really is the only other thing we will need to review your application. We are enrolling admissions, so we review applications throughout the year and look forward to having you submit your application. And Rasul Jackson, our assistant director, will be walking you through the steps to do that on the 31st. The other thing I would, as everyone has mentioned, completing your financial aid, the Fafsa, is very important. We all have our school code. You want to put your the name of the institution on the Fafsa, double check it, make sure you've hit submit. Sometimes you go through all the work and then we find students if they miss that last step. So that's very important. And once you've done that and once you've been accepted, we'll consider you for federal grants, loans, work study. We also encourage you to complete the VSAC grant application. As a Vermont resident, you may be eligible. VSAC also offers many scholarships. The ones I've mentioned here are the NVU scholarships, and they range based on your GPA, the merit awards. And once you have been awarded, our admissions counselors will walk you through the financial aid award, the cost, any remaining balance, and will work with you to explain the financing options, you and your family. So that is a very quick overview. I encourage you to visit our website. There are virtual tours. We have upcoming events. We are open now for Vermont visitors. Hopefully we can bring out-of-state students in the coming weeks. And we hope to see you on campus, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Penny. Appreciate you sharing about both campuses for MVU. And now I would like to welcome Kayla from Norwich. Welcome, Kayla.
Hi, thanks for having me. I am going to give you guys a brief overview of Norwich and also just a little bit about the application process. But just so you are aware, through VSAC, we are actually doing a virtual tour event on the 27th, as well as an info session, and also that application overview more in depth on the 31st. Hopefully, you should be aware of Norwich University. We kind of have the reputation of the military college of Vermont. We are actually the oldest private military college in the country, which is super cool. We turned 200 back in 2019. But just to give you an idea of what we have to offer, we're located in Northfield, Vermont. So if you're familiar, that's about 15 or so minutes from, or 20 or so minutes from Montpelier. We have over 30 programs on campus. We're situated so we have different colleges based off of the program you're interested in. We do have some liberal arts programs, and we also have some more hard science and STEM programs. Some of our most popular programs are, the most popular one is criminal justice, but we also have large engineering, nursing, computer science and computer security. This photo here is actually our brand new academic building on campus for our computer science and computer security students. You can see that we actually have two distinct lifestyles on campus. So we do have that military ROTC Corps of Cadet lifestyle, but we also have civilian students on campus. So if you're thinking, I'm not interested in the military, I don't want to go to Norwich and do military, you don't have to worry about that. Even if you go to Norwich and are in the Corps, you don't have to join the military. That's often a misconception, but I'll talk a little bit more about that too. We do offer 20 varsity sports. We are a D3 school, so like some of my other colleagues on here, we unfortunately don't offer athletic scholarships, but we're still very competitive. Our women's rugby team is ranked D1, men's rugby is ranked D2, and almost all of our teams will go on to postseason play, so you're definitely going to get an opportunity. If you are interested in reaching out to a coach, just go to norwichathletics.com and you can reach out to them there, fill out a prospective athlete questionnaire. We are also a smaller school. We have about 2,300 undergraduate students on campus. 2/3 of those students are in our military lifestyle, are in that Corps of Cadets, and then 1/3 are in the civilian lifestyle. And as with a lot of the other colleges as well, of course, this is Vermont. We are a more rural campus. We have, as you can see, a lot of space around us. Norwich actually has about 1,200 acres that constitute the campus. We also own 2 of the surrounding mountains and have a full network of mountain biking and hiking trails on a mountain called Mount Payne. That is a huge area, especially for students who are interested in outdoor recreation, which ties into our clubs and organizations. So students run basically all of our clubs and activities on campus, and we always want to make sure there's stuff to do on campus, around campus, off campus, especially because we know we're not in an urban environment where there is so much to go do right off of campus. We also offer need-based aid and merit aid to our students. So we're aware of the fact that as a private school, we're not the most expensive, but we're not the least expensive. And we give out quite a bit of aid to our students. So an example of this is every student will, upon acceptance, automatically receive a merit scholarship. And this year, those were up to $28,000 a year, which is set in stone. You get that for all 4 of your years. And then we also have need-based aid. So again, that's where you'd be filing that Fafsa with your family. We'd be working with you to make sure we help kind of bridge the gap between what your family can help with and what is feasible for you. We are really based on kind of creating the leaders of tomorrow, creating leaders that are going to be effective not only in the military, but in the job force, or if you're interested in graduate studies as well. And because of this, we have full-time internship coordinators on campus, full-time study abroad coordinator on campus as well, so that you can really tailor your time here and your professional experience to what you're interested in, to what your area of study is. Depending on your program, you might actually have an individual internship coordinator. Criminal justice is an example of that. Our architecture program does as well. And then we also, as far as study abroad goes, will sometimes have specific travel opportunities based on your program. So an example of this is our NU expeditions, where students in a specific program or a couple of programs will go to a specific area. And for instance, our criminal justice students, they'll go to the Virgin Islands each year, work with local law enforcement while taking Norwich classes down there. We have a couple other examples of that as well. For instance, going to Berlin, Germany, going to see the UN and everything like that. So really focused on building up your resume if you're interested in going to the job force, and then also creating opportunities for students who are interested in the military. We have a 96% placement rate within 8 months after graduation, which means that our students are either going into the job force, going on to graduate study, or are going into the military. Like I said, 2/3 of our students are in the Corps of Cadets, and about 50 to 60% of those students will go directly and commission into the military. But it's not a requirement. You can even do 4 years in the Corps and not go into the military. A lot of students really like it for the leadership skills and opportunities they get, as well as just like the physical fitness aspect of it as well. Just to give you an idea of what the Corps of Cadets is, so this is our 24/7 military lifestyle on campus. It actually goes hand in hand with ROTC. So if a student is in the Corps, they're going to take at least 2 years of ROTC classes. They do have a specific set of kind of rules and regulations they have to follow. And they also do have some extra scholarship opportunities. So if a student's interested in getting a degree, but also going into the military, there's options for you to actually get your tuition and room and board covered by that branch of the military, and then go active duty after graduation. So lots of options there. And then also our civilian students, this is the more traditional college experience. They are actually housed separately on campus. So our students in the Corps are in the barracks. Our students in the civilian lifestyle are in our two within the last 10 years or so, recently built civilian dorms on campus, Dalrymple and South Hall, absolutely gorgeous buildings. And civilian students don't have any type of military obligation. They don't have to wear uniforms. They don't take ROTC classes or anything like that. So it's very much just as if you were going to a non-military college as well. Now, our application process is very simple as well. We do not have a fee to apply. You can apply on our website or you can apply on the Common App, whichever you prefer. And we only require your application and your transcript. We will recommend you send in a personal essay and letters of recommendation because it lets us know more about you and more about who you are as a person and a student, but they aren't required. And also, as far as test scores go, we only require those for our nursing program, and we have waived those for fall 2021. So if you are not interested in nursing anyway, you don't have to worry about test scores. And if you're applying for fall, you don't have to worry about them either. We, like I said, are going to be doing the event on the 31st as well. So if you want to kind of be walked through the application process and we can help you with that, we're happy to. In the meantime, I would suggest just talking to your guidance counselor about getting your transcript. It doesn't have to be an official copy, and we can work with you on completing that application. We're also rolling admissions, which means we don't have a deadline either. You can apply now for actually summer, you can apply for fall. Our application for spring is going to open generally around June or so. So if you're looking to take maybe a semester off, that's an option as well. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here and be able to kind of introduce ourselves. Again, we have an event on the 27th if you want a tour on campus, a virtual tour, and also an info session. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kayla, for sharing that information about Norwich. And now I will turn it over to Moxie from Sterling College. Welcome, Moxie.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yes, so my name is Moxie Mahegan. I'm the Dean of Admission here at Sterling College. I use they, them pronouns. And for those of you who are unaware of Sterling, we are located in Craftsbury Common, Vermont, which is in the Northeast Kingdom. We're a relatively new school in the grand scheme of Vermont schools. You've heard from some that have been established for quite some time. We've been an undergraduate college for about 30 years or coming up on 30 years. We are located, like I said, in the Northeast Kingdom, and we're on the unceded land of the Abenaki people. And I mention this because our connection to place at Sterling is incredibly important to us and to our curriculum. Sterling's motto, as you can see on there, is working hands, working minds. And for us, that translates to the ways in which we teach and the ways in which we learn, which is through practical hands-on application. Sterling focuses on learning in community. We are a community of about 125 students. We are one of the smallest colleges in the US, and we have 2 campuses, one here and then one down in Port Royal, Kentucky, in a partnership with the Windleberry Foundation for a 2-year tuition-free finishing program focused on sustainable agriculture. As I'm sure you are all thinking, especially parents on the call and students, you all have been living kind of, you know, in our pandemic, and what does it look like to finish up high school during the pandemic? What does it look like to enter college during the pandemic? One of the things that that Sterling has done, and I know that all the colleges across the country, and especially in Vermont, have adapted their processes to ensure or decrease risk and ensure as much safety as possible. One of the things with Sterling is that our size naturally lended us to move into a pod structure. So our students come to campus, they learn and they live together in small groups that average between 7 and 18 students. I think on average, really, it's about between 7 and 10 students whose housings is assigned by the classes in which they enroll in. This allows a deep kind of meaningful connection amongst those students. It also means a more modular lifestyle. So instead of getting assigned to a dorm room which they'll live for an entire semester or year, they're going to move during a semester up to 3 times, get to live with different people during that, and have space where they can be safely unmasked around others, have some sense of normalcy. Food is an integral part of the Sterling model. On campus, we have both a functional vegetable garden and livestock farm, and I'll talk a little bit more about our majors. We were voted the #1 dining hall in the country, and part of the joke is that we have food with food in it, which seems so strange to say, but in our desire to have a connection with our natural world, to really evaluate and look at our food systems, part of that is really understanding where our food comes from the quality of the soil, to the ways in which we harvest seed, to the growing and propagation of plants, and then through the preparation. And students are involved every step of the way in that. And so our dining hall really focuses and uses about, our farms provided 40% of the food that we eat, and the remaining 70 or so % come from local farms, and we prefer buying from alumni farms. The majority of the class time at Sterling College is spent outside. So more than 50% of our time is spent outside of the classrooms. We really think about our classrooms as the planning space for kind of the next adventure. And we get outside and put our hands on the work as much as possible. And that has to do with both the farming and the ecological aspect, but also the social aspect. So we know that we can't make any impact on climate or other, crucial social issues without understanding community. So just a quick overview of our programs, and I'll put a link in the chat with more information if you want to click around that. We have a program in sustainable agriculture and food systems, and that really looks holistically at where our food comes from, how we function with our food, the processing, production, distribution of that. Wherever possible, we like to have our students kind of get involved in the work itself. So that means our students are learning how to manage draft animals and draft systems. It's not uncommon to see our oxen being driven by student teams, and that'll happen within the first few days of your semester. As soon as you understand the safety and the comfort, it'll move from you watching to you doing, and that's and then you teaching and having potential for leadership roles. We see each part of our campus, whether it be the cedar swamp on our campus, the farm, the kitchen, the art labs, as spaces for experimentation, spaces for active learning. We have an environmental humanities program, and that really is that human element. We know that humans are nature. And so that tie between being able to write, storytell, kind of do more in-depth analysis of the natural world through philosophy, through community building, and through the lens of social justice. Campus, we have an active fiber arts program, which allows us to both source fiber from our sheep and an active dye garden where students will learn how to grow dyes, process dyes, and then see that all the way through to the fruition of the creation of different artisan crafts. We have an ecology program. This is a field-based ecology program where students will spend time in the field. You're seeing students here going through looking at invertebrates and samples from one of their courses that they took. And often those will kind of end up bleeding together. So if you're taking natural history of the wetlands, you might be both collecting samples of insects, but you also might be taking an environmental humanities lens to that and writing, processing, or drawing, or what you're seeing. And the packing list for Sterling College looks a little different. When I ask students what the most important thing is, it's not their computer, it's the good pair of boots and a sturdy jacket. And I think that'll resonate for other schools in Vermont. But our students, while definitely are being accountable to the work that they're doing in their classroom, are often processing out in the field and getting their hands in it. And finally, outdoor education. So this is that tie between recreation and mentorship, teaching, and facilitation. That is through the lens of learning different parts of recreation, how to facilitate safely, risk management, and actually getting out and having fun along the time that they're doing it. One of the crucial things that kind of keeps us functioning and also prepares students for meaningful work in the world is our work program. So we're one of the 8 federally funded work colleges in the US. And that means that every student on campus receives an 80-hour contract. They are paid at $22 an hour for that time, and that time goes directly to decreasing the cost of their tuition. They're building job skills, negotiation skills, and they're also building their resume. So any student, when they leave Sterling College, if they're here for 4 years, will have at least 4 letters of recommendation from employers and 4 job titles on their CV. I always joke in admissions that the decision about where to go to college should actually be the hard part, not the application. And I'm pleased to see across the board in the Vermont colleges that I think we have a shared ethos in that. Sterling College is part of the Common App. We also have a on website link for applications. We do require 2 letters of recommendation, a personal essay, your transcripts, and then an optional portfolio that you can submit that just might highlight some of the work that you do, whether that's photography, art, your CV, anything that helps us to get to know you. We do not require SAT scores. In fact, we don't even like to look at them unless it feels really important for you to give them to us, because we really want to get to know you as a person. And we do require an interview of all of our applicants. 100% of our students receive some kind of scholarship, grant, award, and for most people that we look at both merit-based awards and need-based awards. So again, the FAFSA is an important part of that. We see a bit of ourselves in the role of interrupting the student debt crisis, especially if folks are going to be going on to be artisans, farming, teachers. The ratio of debt that you take out has to be comparable to the ratio, what you have the ability to pay back. And we really look at those meaningful pathways to your gainful employment, and then your ability to make meaningful contributions to the loans that you take out in an informed way, but also to make sure that that's affordable. So we're happy to talk to you more about your individual circumstances. We also invite you to join us for our open house. We've been doing virtual open houses monthly. The next one is April 11th. Every attendant will receive a $500 scholarship to just kick off that debt interruption. I've put a couple of links in the chat, both the application to register for open house. And if you'd like to just chat with an admissions counselor, we're here to support you through your navigation of either applying to Sterling or another Vermont institution if you're not finding what you're looking for, but also to get you to just hold space for what meaningful work you want to do in the world. So I appreciate this opportunity to chat with you all and look forward to talking with you in the future.
Thank you so much, Moxie, for that information. And now I will turn it over to Megan from St. Michael's College. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you so much. Let me get my screen up. All right, now is that working?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you for putting up with me for this beginning. My name is Megan Conley, and I'm the Associate Director of Admission here at St. Michael's College. So here at St. Mike's, we are a Catholic liberal arts college located in Colchester. So we're just up the road from VSAC, and we are very close to Champlain as well. We have just about 1,700 undergraduate students on our fully residential campus. We have over 40 majors to choose from, and we offer a tight-knit community that is filled with students who are dedicated to serving others, actively engaging in social justice causes on campus and within the greater community, and seeking out opportunities to ask and discuss the big, hard questions of life. As a liberal arts college, we value interdisciplinary studies, and we provide ample opportunities for students to explore different paths while still graduating in 4 years. Our disciplinary nature is also why 66% of students have at least one minor and 25% of students double major. As a student at St. Michael's, you can expect a student to faculty ratio of 13:1 with an average class size of 18. This allows you to build meaningful relationships with your professors and take advantage of their expertise and professional network. Teachers at St. Mike's are just that. They are teachers. You'll never have a TA leading your classes, and you'll never be just another face in a crowd here. In addition to academic flexibility, we encourage students to pursue their interests outside of the classroom. Whether you're interested in earning points toward your Actors Equity Association card through the St. Michael's Playhouse, learning how to ice climb or whitewater raft with our Adventure Sports Center, playing on one of our 21 Division II varsity sports teams, or studying abroad, or answering the call with our fire and rescue squad, there is no short of opportunities for students to get involved here. Moving on to the admission process, like many others, the first thing you'll need to do is make sure St. Mike's is listed on your common application. Once that's complete, we will need to receive your official high school transcript, including your most recent grades, your SAT or ACT scores if you would like to submit them. However, please know that we are test optional, and we have been for 10 years. So we know how to assess an application with or without standardized test scores. If you don't have scores, or if you don't feel that you did as well as you had hoped, please don't let that be an added stressor, and know that we completely understand and are test optional. We would also like to see at least one letter of recommendation from your school counselor or a teacher, somebody who can speak to your academic skills. We also encourage you to think a little bit outside the box when you are considering who to ask to write that letter. A lot of times students feel that they need to only reach out to teachers in a class in which they did really well. Sometimes it's better to reach out to a teacher in whose class you may have struggled, because they can speak really well about your ability to handle that struggle and bounce back. We also, of course, as part of your common application is your essay. This is the one time that we really get to know you and what you're all about. So I encourage you to think deeply about what you choose to write your essay on. Also, please make sure that you are submitting a well-written, error-free, slang-free, text speak-free essay, that does speak very much about the student and the amount of care that they put into the application. So we do advise that at the very least, put your essay into Word, run a spelling and grammar check. And if you do have an adult that you feel comfortable approaching, ask them to take a look at it. Also, back to the school recommendation, this is another opportunity for us to get to know you beyond just the numbers. So again, think about who you're going to be asking to speak on your behalf. It's also important to note that St. Michael's is a need-blind institution, and we're proud to say that 95% of our students receive financial aid, and 23% of our students actually graduate with zero debt. In addition, for our Vermont students, we are offering our Home State Promise, which is a guarantee of a minimum of $25,000 in grants and scholarships. And that goes up to $35,000, but at a minimum, our Vermont admitted students will receive $25,000 in grants and scholarships. So again, those are monies that you do not need to repay. In addition, as I think everybody else has mentioned, we encourage you to do your Fafsa. Our code is right there on the screen, 003694. This will again allow us to consider you for the full range of scholarships, grants, student loans, and work study programs available. So that is my very quick spiel. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're more excited about St. Mike's. I do encourage you to continue getting to know us. Our website is filled with information. We have Wednesday workshops for students on how to pay for college, how to make the most of your campus visit, whether that is an in-person visit or a virtual event. We do have online open houses taking place. And of course, we encourage you to reach out to your admission counselor, which would either be myself or Mary Thompson at our office as well. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Megan, for sharing that information about St. Michael's College. And I just will take a minute to thank all the presenters so much for all of that great information. We are really fortunate in Vermont to have you all representing these colleges and programs, and thank you so much.